I'm a big fan of small camper vans. Of course, they're not as well equipped or as spacious as a big panel van or a motorhome, but then they're also much less expensive. They're easier to drive and easier to park. They'll also often fit into a garage or under a height barrier, and they're good on fuel, so they can be used as your normal runabout vehicle. When I say small camper vans, I mean things like the Transit Connect, the Fiat Doblo, Peugeot Partner, Renault Kangoo, that kind of size. I've watched loads of videos here on YouTube about this kind of vehicle being converted into a camper, and one big thing came to mind. Such vans are great when they're converted for the solo camper, but trying to make them into a van big enough for two people is problematic to say the least, simply because they're so very small. Most vehicles of this size are roughly 1 metre 80 centimetres long in the back and 1 metre 20 centimetres wide between the wheel arches. The conversions I've seen that attempt to cater for two people usually takes one of two forms. In the first, you get a long bench seat from the front to the back, and then opposite this is some form of kitchen unit with a worktop. The bench seat extends widthwise, often using interlocking slats, and this gives what is claimed to be a bed big enough for two. The problem is that the kitchen unit takes up some width, which means that the bed, even when extended, is narrow. I've never seen such a conversion manage to provide a bed that's much more than a metre wide. To me, that's not big enough, particularly for longer term use. The other approach I've seen is where the entire back of the van can be used as a bed and the kitchen is normally housed in two deep drawers under the seating. These can only be pulled open when the back doors of the van are open, so you have to cook outside. Now this may sound lovely when it's in the 70s and you're parked up by a beach, but back on planet reality, what happens when it's raining, or windy, or when you're in Scotland and there are clouds of midges, or you're in the middle of town, or it's -5. You get my point. All of this led me to wonder whether there was a better way, a way of getting a decent sized bed, seating and a usable kitchen, all in a small van. Well, there is, so let me explain my concept. It's a modular system of van furniture that can be installed and removed in minutes. Not only that, but it's pretty inexpensive because of the materials used. The system is based around seating modules and kitchen modules. The seating modules are simply boxes made from 18mm plywood, and you can store things inside them. They are 60 centimetres wide and 60 centimetres deep. This particular version stands 40 centimetres tall because it's to fit in my own van, which is a Peugeot Expert. For shorter vehicles, the box would have to be probably 30 centimetres tall, so that you don't bang your head on the roof when you sat down. The lid to the box is two pieces of ply held together with strap hinges, so the second piece can be opened out to become a surface in total of 60 centimetres wide and 120 centimetres long. It's supported underneath by a piece of ply that is fastened on with locking table hinges so it won't fall down. By having two boxes side by side, this gives you a seating area 120 centimetres wide and 60 centimetres deep. It's designed to use two pieces of foam which are 120 by 60 and 10 centimetres thick. In seating mode, one piece of foam is the base and the other piece is the backrest. For improved comfort, it's possible to open up one of the plywood flaps to use as a backrest, and by moving the other base piece forwards so the support flap rests on the box, this gives a backward tilt to the backrest and the base, which makes them so much more comfortable. So, with two boxes opened, we have a padded base of 120 centimetres wide and 120 centimetres long. Now, let's turn to the kitchen modules. We're used to objects in small van conversions having to have multiple uses, such as a seating area that becomes a bed, or a table that becomes part of a bed. I've taken the idea of multiple use to heart and used the kitchen as part of the bed. Let me explain. The kitchen units are also of 18mm plywood and are 60 centimetres wide to match the seat units, so two units are 120 centimetres wide. Each unit is 30 centimetres deep, In the top half of each unit is a storage compartment with a drop-down front panel, which is supported in the horizontal open position with flap stays. So when this is open, the front to back total depth with the unit and the panel is 60 centimetres and also almost 60 centimetres wide. It's designed so that when the seating is in bed mode, to increase the bed length from 120 to 80 centimetres, you open up the flap and put in a foam piece of roughly 60 by 60 centimetres. The design allows for a 5 centimetre thick piece of foam, and this is at the feet end of the bed, where 10 centimetres of foam would offer more support than necessary. The idea is that your feet go into this area because when you're asleep, you don't need that much space for your feet. Obviously, the compromise is that the contents of this space would need to be moved at bedtime, but if you only keep large items in there or smaller stuff in boxes, it shouldn't be too much hassle, and they can be stored on the floor. On the top of each kitchen unit is a piece of worktop, and you could either have two 60-metre wide pieces or, as I've done here, a single piece 120 centimetres wide. The depth of the worktop is 45 centimetres, which means it overhangs the base by 15 centimetres and is at a usable height for preparation work when you're sat on a seat base. Obviously, a kitchen needs not only storage space and a worktop, but also water and a way of washing up. In this design, I've gone for a pop-up washing up bowl set into the worktop. I've fitted it with a Campervan sink waste plug, and this can be connected to a waste tank in the bottom section of the kitchen unit, with the waste pipe snug against the side of the unit. In bed mode, to have the maximum amount of height, you just have to pop shut the bowl. As for water, I've opted for a USB tap that attaches to the worktop with Velcro. Again, a fresh water tank can be fitted to the base of the unit, and the water pipe runs flush against the side of the unit. You may have noticed that there's no cooker. Well, the design gives plenty of worktop space, so you could have a double burner gas cooker and have the gas bottle in the bottom of the kitchen unit. You could also have any other type of cooker you fancy, such as a single gas camping cooker, a transier. The decision is yours. So that's the system. 2 sleeping modules and 2 kitchen modules provide seating and sleeping space for 2, with a double bed 100 centimetres long and 120 centimetres wide. The units can be positioned in a variety of configurations. You can have the kitchen behind the front seats or by the back doors with the seating units opposite. It's also possible to have the seating units mounted front to back so that they open out across the van. Provided that the van has a flat base, ideally in chipboard or OSB, the units can be fastened in place using angle brackets and screws. This means that you can use your van as a normal van most of the time, and then fit the furniture as and when you want it. So there you have it, what I think is a unique design solution for smaller vans. Now, there's nothing to prevent you from making your own furniture just like this. However, I'm looking into making this available to buy, either as pre-built furniture or possibly as a flat pack for self-assembly. So, if this is of interest, please get in touch. My contact details are in the About section of this video. I'd also be grateful for any comments you may have, either good or bad. So, thank you for listening.